Hi, I'm Daniel, I'm a sleep coach, and if you want to sleep amazingly well for the rest of your life, this channel is for you. I am extremely excited today because we are going to complete the model, the self-coaching model, which I believe is a game changer. It is that missing link that I believe will lead to 100% success for anyone willing to put in the work. Welcome back, you guys. As mentioned, I am extremely excited. I really believe that the reason that a traditional cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia course or program has a success rate that is only 70 to 80% and not 100% is that you are not taught how your mind works. When you understand how your mind works and you are willing to do the work, the thought work that comes with understanding how it works, you will do really, really well. I believe that you can be 100% successful as long as you're willing to put in the work. Now, that said, let's get real practical here. We started talking about thoughts, we've talked about emotions, and we're gonna start there. Emotions are not there just for you to be annoyed when you're anxious or angry, happiness is not there for your entertainment, etc. They are there for a specific purpose. Emotions have a purpose. And that purpose really is to keep our species safe. If you think about it, all our emotions are there for that reason. Anxiety is there to keep us, literally keep us safe, right? From something that is harmful to us. Sadness is there when there are overwhelming odds. Play dead, don't do anything, that's your best chances of survival. Disgust, you don't want to eat something that's rotten. Anger, sometimes you need to defend yourself to stay safe, right? Happiness is also there for survival. Happiness, excitement, hope, all those positive emotions are there to make us things like, make us do things like go out and search for fruit, or down that mammoth, or whatever it was, back in the day when we needed those positive emotions to make us do things that would also ensure our survival. So that's why we have emotions. They are there for a specific practical purpose. In other words, they are there to produce action. Action. Emotions are there to make us do stuff. Action, or for that matter, inaction. Emotions are there to make us do things or keep us from doing things. That is the purpose of emotions. Very important. Everything you've done in your whole entire life was because of an emotion or a feeling. Everything you've done had an underlying emotion or feeling that made you do that thing. Super important. Now, whenever you do something or you don't do anything, there's a consequence. And that is the result. That's the result in our model. If you do something, something will happen. Now, we have only one part left of this model, and it is a big one, a super important one. It is circumstances. Circumstances are all the things that happen in the world that you don't have any control of. This includes the past, what happened to you 5 minutes ago, a second ago, or 15 years ago. Well, that's circumstance. That's circumstances. Nothing you can change there. Somebody's behavior, nothing you can change there. The loss of nature, nothing you can change. All the stuff is circumstance. Now, the thing here that is so important is that circumstances are neutral. They are neutral until we have a thought about those circumstances. And we're going to look at some examples so you'll see exactly what I mean by that. Circumstances are neutral, but when we have a thought about them, that thought produces an emotion. The emotion produces an action. That action produces a result, and the result reinforces the thought that produced them. Let us start exploring this by, let's do two examples. Actually, let's do one non-sleep example and one sleep example. In our non-sleep example, I'm going to go with, you lost your job. You got fired. You got laid off. That happened. No question about it. That is a circumstance. It is reality. That happened. Now, let's say you are feeling sad, right? You're feeling sad that day, and people ask you, why are you feeling sad? You say, I lost my job. That is incorrect. That is not true. The reason you are feeling sad is not because you lost your job. That is a circumstance. The reason you're feeling sad is because you thought, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to fend for my family. That made you feel sad. Now that sadness produced the action of rumination and brooding and thinking about this. Or in other words, it also produced an inaction. You didn't do anything, productive. That was your action. That was your inaction/action, however you want to look at it. That action produced the result of you did not get a new job, which then reinforces your thought, which is, I'm not going to be able to take care of my family. Now, let's say same thing happened, but you had another thought. Exactly the same circumstance. You got fired, but you thought, this is perfect. I am going to start that business of mine that I always thought about, right? That thought makes you excited, hopeful, happy. That produces the action of opening that bakery. The result becomes you have a new career path. That reinforces your thought, this is perfect, And so here we see the exact same circumstance, completely different results. The only difference is how you thought about that circumstance. Okay? Now let's use a sleep example. Let's say that you've had trouble sleeping for a long time and you have started thinking, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. In this case, circumstances are that you've had trouble sleeping for a long time. Your thought becomes, there's something wrong with me. That thought makes you feel uncomfortable, unhappy, anxious, frustrated. Let's go with anxiety, okay? That anxiety leads to action. And those actions include things like you try a supplement, you try a sleep mask, you try to sleep in a different bedroom, And as we know, everybody on this channel knows that the more you try, the less you sleep, right? So those actions produce the result of more sleeplessness. You sleep less, that reinforces your thought, there's something wrong with me. In fact, you now think something is really wrong with me. That produces emotion of stronger anxiety, more sleep efforts, less sleep, and the thought is reinforced until 20 years later, you have this really strong belief system, like many thoughts centered around like how you cannot sleep, and then they kind of continuously reinforced. So now we have started to see how this model works, and you can already see why this is so important. Because check this out, we can't change our circumstances. We have no direct control over our emotions. There are no switch, happiness switch, sadness switch, anxiety switch. There is no such thing. You don't have direct control over emotions. You have control over your actions, but as we've seen, the result always reinforces the thought. So if you do something without the a helpful thought behind that action, the result will not be helpful to you. And I want to share one more example here, which is, let's say somebody had trouble sleeping. That leads to the thought, I can't sleep, and then you become frustrated, and then you hear about CBTI, and you say, well, I'm going to spend less time in bed, and then you spend less time in bed, but because of the emotion, you're frustrated, you spend less time in bed, you don't really believe in it. The result becomes, it doesn't work, you're not sleeping no better. And then that reinforces the thought, I can't sleep. So you see here that behavior in itself does not lead to the results you want unless the thought behind it is there to support the whole cascade here. This has been extremely helpful to me. I've understood a lot of things using this model that I have not before. It is an amazing tool. It's a super powerful tool. I can't express how bullish I am on this tool. So I'll conclude here, and as we move forward here on the Insomnia Insight channel, we are going to be using this more and more to get to a point where I believe anyone that commits to the work will do amazingly well. So stay in touch, send me questions, leave a comment, or send me an email, and I look forward to working with you, to talking to you, to explaining this, to exploring this as we move forward. Until then, take it easy.